Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something really quite unique. We're taking a deep dive into a source that, well, it isn't your usual research paper or news report. It's actually a fascinating literary excerpt. It's called Nora Sakavic, which translates roughly to A Fox's Hole, Nora Sakavic, and this comes to us from Book Workshop UA under their Cactus imprint. So what's so interesting about this one, you ask? Well, instead of, factual data points, we're actually digging into human insight straight from a narrative. It's kind of a journey into an emotional landscape.
Exactly. And it's quite a powerful one. This source, it's marked 18 plus Lanager, just so you know, and it offers this really captivating deep story about a young woman, Nora. It explores how she navigates her inner world, really, and how she responds when this unexpected connection happens. So we'll be looking at how her character develops, the nature of her relationships, and some really powerful themes that kind of emerge from the story itself. It's a good reminder, I think, that deep understanding can come from all sorts of places,
Yeah.
not just academic texts.
Definitely. A good reminder. So let's start by stepping into Nora's world, or maybe more like the world she's built for herself. The source describes this Fox's Hole. It paints it as this dark, cozy place hidden away. What's that all about? What's the significance there?
Well, the whole is really striking because it's an external symbol of her internal state. It's not just a room, it's where she keeps her secrets, her fears, all these unanswered questions about her past that are still sort of tormenting her. The text really highlights her fear, her discomfort with anyone else being there. She's alone, she feels cold, and her first instinct is just push people away.
Right.
She actually says she's afraid of myself, which makes this hole feel safe to her, strangely, even with all the pain inside it.
Wow, that's a powerful image. Finding safety in isolation, even when that isolation is, well, full of its own kind of torment. And she calls herself a small, frightened bird, right? Trapped in an inner cage, feeling broken. It really sets up this picture of someone deeply wounded and really, really resistant to the outside. So, okay, she's in this fortress, basically. What could possibly start to, crack that open?
Ah, that's the core of it, isn't it? Because then this figure appears. He just steps into her space. Later, we find out it's Shishko. And her reaction is immediate resistance, like, what are you doing here? She's trying hard to push him out.
But he doesn't leave. That's what's striking, right? He sort of persists.
He does. But it's the way he persists. It's this really consistent, gentle presence. He keeps saying, I won't hurt you. He stays near, offers warmth.
And you can feel Nora's conflict, can't you? This
Yeah.
deep fear clashing with something else, a warmth she tries to ignore.
Exactly. She wants to run. Her instincts are screaming at her to escape, but she doesn't. She stays.
Why do you think she hesitates? What is it about him, or his approach?
Well, I think it's that gentleness, that consistency.
Yeah.
For someone who's likely experienced a lot of hurt or abandonment, that steady, non-demanding presence it's probably quite new. And we also get his side. He admits that he feels alone too, that he needs her. He actually sees her vulnerability as beautiful, not as a flaw.
Okay. So it's not an invasion, really. It's more like a shared need.
Kind of, yeah. An invitation, maybe, born out of that shared vulnerability. He promises he'll always be there. He wants her to find happiness, let go of the pain. There's something really profound there about how real connection can start just by acknowledging, that we're both a bit broken, maybe.
So, okay, Shishko's there, being this steady, gentle force. And we start to see Nora change, right? This journey towards healing. How does that look? How does she shift from fear to, well, acceptance?
It's definitely not instant. It's slow. It's fragile. We see her gradually allowing touch, starting to feel his presence as calming, maybe even safe. But what's really insightful is that it's not shown as easy. Healing rarely is, right?
Right.
The narrative shows her grappling with her past, these old wounds opening up. She struggles to even define what she needs. She can't quite recall memories. She's afraid of the truth.
Which sounds incredibly difficult.
It is. But Shishko's support is constant. He encourages her, promises he'll be with her through it. He talks about her true self kind of underneath the pain. He sees this whole process as a kind of rebirth for her, not just fixing something broken, but becoming something new.
Rebirth. That's a really powerful way to put it. And as this happens, her fears start to fade a bit. She gets stronger.
Yeah, you see her embracing vulnerability, which is a huge step. And the Fox's Hole itself changes meaning, doesn't it?
How so?
It stops being this essential hiding place. It becomes more like a memory,
Oh.
a part of her past, not her present.
Okay, so she's ready to leave it behind.
Exactly. And that lines up with their connection deepening, emotionally,
Oh.
physically, too. It symbolizes this really profound bond they're forming. They start talking about the future, shared dreams, a shared life. Love starts to feel like her guide, giving her this sense of freedom, purpose. The transformation is, well, it's pretty complete by the end. She's fully reborn, ready to face the world, but not alone anymore. She's with Shishko, walking away from that past.
Wow, what an incredible and sometimes raw journey we've just traced through this story, starting with Nora, so isolated in that fox's hole, and seeing her transform through this persistent yet vulnerable connection with Shishko.
It really does highlight how these deep connections can enable healing, maybe even, like you said, a kind of self-reinvention. Nora's path, from that intense fear and pushing away to finally embracing vulnerability in a future with someone. It's a powerful look at our capacity for change, especially when we find that acceptance from another person.
So, thinking about the story, what does it mean for you listening right now? It's fiction, yes, but it asks some pretty deep questions, doesn't it? Like, what are the fox's holes we build for ourselves? And what might it take, what kind of connection for us to let someone else in to help us heal and step out?
Yeah, and maybe even digging a bit deeper. What does it truly mean to accept the truth about yourself, even if it hurts? Sitter's story seems to suggest that facing those deep fears, those vulnerabilities, especially with someone else's support, maybe that's where real freedom lies. It makes you wonder about the courage involved in choosing vulnerability, not just having it forced on you, but actively choosing it. Maybe real strength isn't always about standing alone, Maybe it's in needing and being needed, too. Something to think about.